What's going on, you guys? It's your man James, aka JP, back again with another toy room review, and today we have a little bit of a different review. I'm going to be reviewing a roller coaster for the first time ever. This is really exciting. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I got an exclusive annual pass preview to ride the brand new Jurassic World Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure yesterday. Now, this roller coaster does not open until June 10th, but me being an annual pass holder, I was able to get a reservation to ride this roller coaster early, and man, it was absolutely worth it. Now, I do have a little bit of a crazy story because I found out last week that I was going to be able to attend this event. However, it was too late for me to request the day off of work because the schedule had already been made and everything like that. So I drove 3 hours up yesterday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I drove up to Orlando to ride this ride, to then drive 3 hours back, to then have to go to work. So it was a very, very long day, a very crazy day, and I started filming a vlog and I never got to continue on with that vlog because by the time I got to Universal, it was 9 o'clock. But by the time I actually parked the car and got over to the roller coaster, it was 10 o'clock, which was the end of my reservation period. My period was from 9:30 to 10. So I got there right at the tail end of my time frame. Luckily, they still let me in. I didn't have any issues with that. But I was running through the park to try and get over there. The park was really busy. It was extremely hot. It is definitely now summertime in Florida. So by the time I actually got to like the reservation checkpoint, I was like sweating. I just wanted to get hydrated and kind of cool off and relax, catch my breath. And by the time I got through the reservation checkpoint, I was on the roller coaster like 10 minutes later. So I really didn't even have time to bring out the camera and to start vlogging in line. So, I'll put pictures and whatnot that I took and some images that I can find from online here to overlap as I'm talking and whatnot. But man, this coaster was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to start with the review of the coaster, and I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions that I've been getting. I've been getting a lot of DMs on Instagram over the last 24 hours about the roller coaster. How is it? How is it compared to other roller coasters, and what can I compare this roller coaster to? I'm going to answer all those questions in this video. So let's start with the review of the coaster. Man, it is awesome. It is so good. I don't want to jump to the conclusion right away just after riding it the one time and say it's my favorite roller coaster at Universal or Islands, but it's definitely up there. Like, it's between Hagrid's and this, and those are two completely different types of coasters that we will compare later on in this video. But just judging this coaster on its own, it is so good. This might sound like a bad thing, but it's not. It's just not as thrilling of a coaster as it seems. Visually, it seems crazy when you hear about the launches going 40 to 70 and shooting up the hill and all that. You really expect to, I don't know, I just expected it to be a little bit scarier than it was, but not to say that it's not thrilling or anything like that, because it still has its thrills, and going up that hill at 70 miles an hour is still pretty crazy. It's just not as crazy as I thought it was going to be, I guess, if that makes any sense. It is a fun time. It is a fast coaster. You're just going through it, you're whipping through, going up these different bank turns. One second you're doing a turn, and the next second you're going through a loop somewhere, and then next thing you know, you're boosting off and you're on the top of the hill. But by the time you even have time to process that you're on the top of this hill, you're already coming down that hill and then going upside down and being suspended upside down for at least a good 2 to 3 seconds. You're completely upside down, and then by the time you even have time to process that, you're going through this crazy Mosasaurus roll over the water, which is the craziest part of the whole ride. I thought going up that hill or being suspended upside down for those couple of seconds was going to be the craziest part of the ride, because you're all the way, you're shooting up the top of the hill at 70 miles an hour, and you're all the way so high up in the air and then coming down. But no, going over that little corkscrew over the water is absolutely crazy and breathtaking. You really feel like you're just going to dive right into the water, and it is just such a cool feeling. And literally everybody in the roller coaster, when we went through that corkscrew, every single person had some sort of reaction, whether it was just like whoa, or like oh my god, or like everybody had like the same type of reaction when we went through that corkscrew. And by the time the roller coaster finished and we got back to the station, everybody was just like in shock, in awe, just like of how amazing and how crazy this coaster was. It was so much fun. I definitely want to ride it again. Like I said, it's not as intense as it looks. If you've ridden Hulk or Rip Ride Rockit, you'll have absolutely no problem on this roller coaster. It's not It's not any less as intense, but it's not any more as intense. It's intense in different ways, but it is just so good, so much fun. The only negative thing I could say about it is that I feel like it's too short, but all roller coasters are short, other than Hagrid's, which is the exception. All roller coasters are basically like a minute and a half, and this roller coaster, I believe it's like right over a minute. So that's the only thing. It's over before it even starts. You know, like it's just over way too quick. But part of that is the excitement of me wanting to ride it again and wishing it wasn't over so quickly. But it was just such a good time, so much fun. And the theming is excellent. Like, there's so many little hidden Easter eggs throughout the queue of like books from the original cast of the Jurassic Park, from all of those guys. And also there's a velociraptor in the actual queue, or a couple of them that have those like muzzles on from the movie, and the animatronics look so lifelike, and you can actually feel them breathing on you as you're standing next to them in line, which is just so crazy. They really knocked it out of the park with this. And even the loading station where you get onto the roller coaster, that whole station looks like the little like viewing area for the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World. Man, the theming is amazing. I wouldn't say the queue is anything like super spectacular. However, it's still really cool to see, especially if you're a fan of Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, because there are Easter eggs to Jurassic Park in the queue. And there's this really cool part of the queue where you can actually see the coaster take off from the initial launch, and you see velociraptors on like, it's like a window that's like a hybrid of a window and a screen, and you can see velociraptors chasing after the coaster. I think that is such a cool effect as well. And man, like I said, this roller coaster is just, it's so much fun. It's a ton of fun. And you know, if you're having maybe doubts that you think it may be too thrilling, I say definitely ride it. It's not as crazy as it seems. Now I sat in the middle row, like somewhere around row 5, I believe. I didn't sit in the front or the back. I hear those are the two more thrilling rows, because you do get kind of thrown out of your seat a little bit. And speaking of which, this roller coaster, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm just giving you, like, these were my thoughts, like everything racing through my head as soon as I got off the ride. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about this ride ever since I rode it. This coaster, typically when you go upside down in coasters, you have a harness that goes over the shoulders to keep you restrained and everything. This does not have that. This just has a simple, like a lap bar. It comes over you, but you don't have anything restraining your shoulders. It's literally just a lap bar that goes right over your lap. And I was a little nervous about that. I didn't know how that was going to feel, if I felt like I was going to be falling out of my seat. I didn't feel that at all, actually. The only time I really felt like I was kind of flying out just slightly for like half a second was when we went to the very top of the top hat. At the top of the top hat, it has like a little like turn before you reach the top. That part did kind of throw me out of my seat a little bit, and it was an exciting feeling. It lasted half a second, but throughout the rest of the ride, I definitely felt secure and didn't feel like I was moving anywhere. It will be interesting as I ride this later on in the future to ride it in the front and the back and see how those experiences are, if they're any different, if they feel any more thrilling. But that is kind of like my review of the coaster. Look, I know this is all over the place, but trust me, once you get off this ride, your adrenaline's going. These are your thoughts. You're just all over the place. All I can say is that it is an amazing coaster. It is a fun time. It's very fast, very high paced, and man, I really cannot wait for June 10th to ride this again on opening day. Now, I've been getting a ton of questions on Instagram, a ton of DMs asking me, like, what is this coaster like? What can I compare this coaster to? And is this coaster as good as Hagrid's, as good as Hulk and Rip Ride Rockit and all that? So as far as what this coaster, like what I can compare this coaster to, it's really hard to say, because this coaster is really like in a league of its own. But the best way I can describe it is if you took Hulk, if you took Rip Ride Rockit, and if you took Rock and Roller Coaster from Hollywood Studios, and also Hagrid's, and kind of just threw them all, put them all together into one coaster, this is what you get. You have like the launching effect from starting from zero and then just shooting, that effect from like Rock and Roller Coaster, but then you also have these crazy like bank turns and crazy like loop type of things from like Hulk, and also kind of like the launching feature from Hulk as well. And then you also have the launching feature from Hagrid's, where you're already going a decent speed, and then it picks you up from that speed and then shoots you even faster, and then you go to the very top of the top hat and then come down that hill, kind of like you do in in Rip Ride Rockit. So you have all these different effects just kind of put all together in one coaster. I will say the hill, the top hat definitely feels exactly like Rip Ride Rockit as you're coming down. I know Universal says it's its steepest coaster ever. I didn't feel any difference. To me, it felt exactly the same as coming off of Rip Ride Rockit. And man, it is so good, so good. And you have raptors like buzzing by you as you're riding the ride. Like, man, I definitely need to ride it again so I can see all the Easter eggs. You can see like the pure excitement and enjoyment of this ride. And this is 24 hours later. But anyways, what I can like compare this coaster to, or I would say those, is Hulk, Rip Ride Rockit, Rock and Roller Coaster, and Hagrid's, all fused into one coaster. And is this coaster better than Hulk? I would say yes. It is definitely more thrilling than Hulk, much smoother obviously because it's a newer coaster, even though I don't find Hulk to be that rough, but it is much smoother than Hulk, way smoother than Rip Ride Rockit. Rip Ride Rockit's a rough roller coaster. I still love riding it, but this is way smoother than that. And I would say it's better than Rip Ride Rockit. It's more thrilling, you're definitely going more faster, you have launches and stuff. Rip Ride Rockit, you know, you do have that anticipation of going up at that straight angle, but I don't know, I'd rather ride Jurassic World, maybe because it's a newer coaster. But yeah, I definitely would say this is better than Rip Ride Rockit. Now, is it better than Hagrid's? Here's the thing. Hagrid's has been my favorite roller coaster at Universal, and it's actually the reason why I even have an annual pass in the first place. I hadn't been to Universal in years until a year ago. I got regular tickets to go, and I went and I rode Hagrid's and fell in love. And immediately after getting off of Hagrid's, I went up to get service. I took my regular ticket and I told them, look, upgrade me to an annual pass. Hagrid's blew my mind, and still till this day it blows my mind. I ride it multiple times every time that I go there. And I don't know that I can say that Jurassic World is better than Hagrid's, because they're two completely different types of coasters. The Velocicoaster is definitely a thrill coaster, where Hagrid's is it's more tame. It definitely has its thrills, but it's more tame and it's more of a storytelling coaster than anything else. The thrills on Velocicoaster are way higher than Hagrid's, but Hagrid still has its thrills as well. You know, if you're riding it for the first time, experiencing that launch, experiencing the launch that turns you into that bank turn, and then also going up that free fall portion, and also that portion where the floor drops from under you and going backwards and all that. It's definitely thrilling riding it for the first time and not knowing that that's coming. It definitely has its thrills, and even though I've ridden Hagrid's a million times, that part where the floor drops from under you still gets me every time. It is so thrilling. And it's a 3-minute coaster, I want to say Hagrid's is. So I definitely feel like you get more time out of Hagrid's, obviously. Whereas, you know, that's my main complaint with the Velocicoaster, is that it's just so fast paced and it's over so quickly, where I'm left wanting more. So it's very hard to compare the two. I would say they're tied for my two favorite roller coasters, and ironically they're both at the same park, but they're just two completely different types of coasters. You know, you can't really compare the two. Now with Hulk and with Rip Ride Rockit, it's easy to compare those because they're bigger coasters, they're more thrill rides, and they're very similar in that aspect, where Hagrid's is just a completely different beast. And you know, Hagrid's is definitely more, I want to say, technologically advanced, because you just have all these different elements. It's not just a simple coaster. You have the launching effect, you have the free fall effect, you have the effect where you go backwards, and the effect where the floor drops from under you. So you have all these different technological things going on at Hagrid's that, you know, I really appreciate, because I don't think any other roller coaster really has that. So I wouldn't say it's better than Hagrid's, but I'd say it's just on par with Hagrid's. You know, they're two completely different things. It's like apples to oranges comparing those two, but they're definitely my two favorite roller coasters of all time. Now granted, I haven't ridden or rode the roller coasters at SeaWorld yet. Eventually one day I will go to SeaWorld and ride those. And I haven't been to Six Flags either, but just between like Disney and Universal, these are definitely my favorite coasters of all time. And I think that is pretty much it. You know, I know this video was kind of all over the place. I'm still trying to get my excitement level down, because I'm still like so excited. I also picked this up right after the ride. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up real quick. I picked it up at the gift shop, and that is a Velocicoaster mask. Now, I loved the ride so much that I had to get a mask. And it's very simple, it just says Velocicoaster, but it's just kind of like a memory thing. You know, I'll be able to look back on this and think to the first time that I rode the coaster and that I got to experience it before the general public did, which was just a really cool thing in my opinion. Now, yeah, like I was saying, my thoughts are all over the place, and I don't know. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm planning to go back June 10th through June 12th, which is opening day to opening weekend. It opens on a Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be there. I will definitely be trying to ride it again. And I will definitely record everything because I'll have more time, and I've been there already, so I don't have to take everything in. So definitely stay tuned for that. Have those notification bells on, subscribe if you're new. But that is my review and comparison and everything of the brand new Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure here in Orlando, Florida. Well, not here because I'm in Fort Lauderdale, but over in Orlando, Florida. Man, I can't wait to go back and ride it. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that it's open. I've been looking forward to it for so long, and it was just a great experience riding it during the annual pass preview, not having to wait in any line, just getting right on. So good. But anyways, guys, I can go on all day about this, so I'm going to cut the video here. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Definitely check out my Instagram. That link's in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. And I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. So as always, guys, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time.